Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Kev from 21 Sat Street. So, yeah, I know a lot of delays on my end, a lot of backlog, but long story short, just a lot of technical problems. I actually had to upgrade my computer, had to buy a mic, but it all worked out. It all worked out. So hopefully, no more delays here moving forward. But yeah, I owe you guys this episode, and hopefully, like I said, no more delays, and a lot of stuff coming through the pipe right now. But yeah, thank you for your patience. Thank you for being here. And without further ado, here is episode 6 of the Time Chain Calendar series. Let's go. Last episode, I confessed that I postponed the tour. I made you wait. I said it hit harder once you actually understood what this clock is. Well, today, I make good on it. Boom. Right here. This is the Time Chain Calendar. And I know, the first time you land on this page, it looks like a lot. There's rings inside rings, numbers everywhere, a sidebar full of stats, my bad, but it does include sats. It looks like a fighter jet cockpit, like something from Tom Cruise and Top Gun. But anyways, here's the thing. You already understand most of it. You just don't know the labels yet. So today, we go across the screen piece by piece, and by the end, you'll read it like a local reads the clock at a train station. What's going on, guys? This is Kev from 21 Sat Street. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're watching this. Like I said, we're taking a deep dive into the time chain calendar and going piece by piece what this clock is, and just getting familiar with the labels, with the features, and everything. And before we dive in, keep three things in mind because there's really all to this site. It's a decentralized clock. It records history in a strict chronological order, adding new blocks roughly every 10 minutes. It's also an unchangeable ledger. Each block is permanently linked to the one before it, which makes that history impossible to alter. And it's a tracking tool. It lets you view the timeline, look back at the past transactions, and also predict future network events. And today's the live timeline. The next episode will be the past and the future. And let's just get right into it. All right, right here on the top right-hand corner right here, this is the Bitcoin price. And I want to be honest with you, on this entire screen, this is the least interesting number here. Again, this is not me being cute or different or anything like that. Here's why. It's the whole thesis of this here, actually. Everything else on this page is a fact about a machine that's been running uninterrupted for 17 years. The price is just what people happen to be willing to pay this afternoon. So one is the clock, the other is a mood. And then down here is sats per dollar, which is a fun one. And not sure if you saw any of my previous videos, but just to recap real quick, a Satoshi or a sat is the smallest piece of a Bitcoin. And in one single Bitcoin, there's 100 million of them. Think of it like cents in a dollar. Except there's 100 million of them instead of 100. So sats per dollar. So right now, if I were to spend one single US dollar, this is how much I'd be getting, which is 1,543 Satoshis. And yeah, that's the simplest way that I can put it. And honestly, if you're not stacking or you're not stacking hard enough, shout out to Flipper, shout out to Hodler, I would start doing that right now because it's not always going to be like this. And but later in the next episode, in the last one, we're gonna even time travel to see how much more, even how much less Satoshis you can get for $1. And some it could be jaw dropping for some, but stay tuned. And a fun little fact here before we move on to the next point. If you don't want to see the exchange, the Bitcoin price or the sats per dollar price amount, or even the market, or even the market value at this point, you can just go over here to settings. You can click this off right here. Boom, the market cap. And boom. And right here it's just going to say one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. And that's facts because it doesn't matter the US dollar price. One Bitcoin will always equal one Bitcoin. But yeah, let's move things along. All right, now we have the middle screen right here. So you see this whole thing where it says Timechain calendar, and then we have this big number right here, and right above it is the block height, and that's what it is. This is the block height. So right now the current block height is 963,076. And this is the heartbeat that we've been talking about. It's been going on. Actually, let me backtrack. Hold on. It's simply how many blocks have been stacked since the beginning. And it only ever goes up. But, as I was mentioning before, this is the heartbeat that we've been talking about. The target is 10 minutes. It shows what it's actually been doing lately, and the rule is simple. The more miners join the network, the quicker the blocks get mined. And then right over here, we have the average block time. In the average block time right here. And then we go on to the one with the last 24 hours. So let's focus on right here. So right now, the average block time is 9 minutes and 53 seconds. And the target is 10 minutes. And out of that average block time, 19 blocks have been mined, but fast, which is, pretty good. Like, again, so yeah, the target could be 10, but, give or take, depending, what the network is like on average for the most part. But yeah, so a little bit of mental math here. So if it takes a block 10 minutes, that's 6 in an hour, 24 hours a day. So a normal day is about 144 blocks. So that's what we have right here. And it's a meaningful number if it goes beyond that. So as the case right now, so it's 156 blocks. So that's surpassed that average number of 144. So that's how it's running fast. But if it was running slow, it would probably be below. So it could be like, 143, 142, or 135. And yeah, that's really it to it. We'll get onto the hash rate in a sec, but I want to divert to our attention to the next point. All right, so right here on the bottom is the difficulty adjustment. So that's the self-correcting dial from episode 2. So live on the screen, same idea as before. So when more miners join the network to mine blocks, it becomes more difficult to win those blocks and be awarded new Bitcoin. This readout tells you roughly when the network will retune itself, and this is the great part. An estimate of by how much. Watch that percentage over a few days. It drifts as the network behavior changes. It's a prediction, not a promise. So right here we have the previous adjustment, which was 10 days ago. So it's up by 0.99%. Then the next adjustment right here will be on August 22nd, 2026. So that's coming up. Oh, and look at that. We got a new block. So now it's 963,077. So we just saw that live. So just got a new block. So that means more Bitcoin is being put into the network. But yes, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving to the next point. So just as we were moving on to the next point, now we have another block. So now it's 963,078. And this is what I was going to get onto before. Because it said the last block mined or found was a minute ago, but then since it recently happened, now it's now it's about to be a minute ago. So there we go. It just keeps going until the next block is mine right there. And right there, yeah, right there, that's just Bitcoin being Bitcoin right there. So 10 minutes in average, not a schedule. Hold that thought because we're going to end this episode on that. But anyways, next we get on to this point right here. So where the block height is. So the TXS. So basically that is how many transactions were in that block. And the MB right here is the total size of the block altogether. And the average fee per block. Where's the average fee? Give me 1 second. Average fee. See, I'm not even familiar with it myself. All right, so right here is the average fee per block. So, and that's less than 1 cent per V byte right here. And then, just recalling. So remember the waiting room from episode 2? Payment sitting around, waiting to be scooped into a block. That waiting room has a name. It's called the mempool. So yeah, right here, this is the mempool. This is what it looks like as we speak. Who knows? Maybe I might do a separate series on this, or maybe just a video. Maybe it'd be simple to explain and all. This is what it looks like right here. Literally, it's a chain of blocks, and that's where you get the name blockchain and all that. But anyways, we'll touch on that another time. Just wanted to show you that real quick. And this is where you get it from. So let me show you. So you have mempool SP or Bitfeed Live here. We'll go on it just so that we can take a look. And who knows, we can do a separate thing on this as well. But yeah, look at that. It's pretty interesting stuff. For sure, for sure. Pretty cool, don't you think? But yeah, we'll come back to this another time and we'll talk about this. But you can always get this from right over here. But anyways, let's move on to our next point. So yeah, just to go back to the fields real quick. And this is something that nobody tells, a beginner. But then again, I don't think it goes to the beginner's head. Or maybe there's some, maybe there's some that don't. But anyway, so in this block, there's the space inside is limited. So only so much can fit in there. So when lots of people want it at once, it becomes an auction. You attach a fee, and miners get to keep the fee. So naturally grab the highest bidder, or whoever they become top priority. And this is what the this panel is for, where it says the fee rates. It's an auction price board, and it measures in a strange unit, which is sats per V byte that we just discussed over here. So, don't panic. It's simpler than it sounds. It's just how many sats someone is paying for every virtual byte of data, and they're attaching it to the time chain. Bigger transaction, more data, higher total fee. And there are 3 tiers, and they're genuinely useful. So right here, we got priority. So if your transaction is a priority, this is the fee per V byte it advises. You're bidding high because you're in a hurry and you want it in the very next block. Next is anytime, the opposite of priority. Your transaction can get sent without a rush. Maybe you're moving coins into cold storage on a lazy Sunday. You'll get there. And then next, we have what we call a purge, and this one is in red for a reason. Here, let me see if I can find it. This is right in front of me. But anyways, a purge is anyone running a Bitcoin node has their own mempool, and the average node holds about 300 megabytes worth of data. Some people set theirs higher, but 300 is normal. So what that means is higher fee transactions stays in the mempool while lower ones get bumped out, purged, and they go right back into your wallet, and you have to set up a new transaction all over again. The purge is the do not go below this line market. All right, so moving right along. So you are familiar with the fee rates. So priority, anytime, and purge, which is not on the time chain. I mean, like I said, there's so much going on. I don't even know where to where to keep track of what. But like I said, we're just here learning. Eventually, we'll get it down to a T, for sure, for sure. But anyways, let's move down below to the inflow. So the inflow means how much new transaction data is hitting the mempool every second. It ticks all over the place. And then next we have unconfirmed transaction. Everything piling up, waiting to be mined into a future block. Then we have the depth. How many blocks worth of transactions are waiting in line, and the total size in the megabyte. So notice the last one there. If the size climbs up past that 300 megabytes that we just talked about, the average node can't hold it. And that's exactly why the purge line exists. When the depth number is big, the network is busy and the fees climb. When it's near empty, it's cheap to move. This little panel is the closest thing Bitcoin has to a traffic report. So yeah, I was just starting up over here to talk about the next point. We are now on block 963,084. So yeah, these blocks are coming in hot, and the reason why I stopped is because I had to grab some coffee. If you didn't know, I sell coffee from Costa Rica. If you want more information on that, I'll put the link below. I think currently right now we're sold out, but I'm getting another shipment coming in soon, so I'll make an announcement soon once we're restocked. But again, there's a link in the description, below for my page, and you can wait for that announcement. But anyways, let's keep it moving. So yeah, next is the hash rate. So we would come back to this right here. So yes, the hash rate. So this is a measure of how many guesses per second the entire global network is making at that lottery. And here's something fascinating. Nobody actually knows this number. There's no registry of miners, no head count. It can only be estimated by watching how fast blocks get solved and working backwards. That's why you'll see several versions. A 1 day, a 7 day, a 14 day, a monthly, a 90-day average. If the recent averages sit above the long ones, hash rate is climbing and more machines are joining. You'll see it measured in EHS, exahashes per second. Just know that exa. It's absurdly comical large number. Remember in episode 2 when I said trillions of guesses per second? That was just me being conservative right there. Next is this right here, the block reward. So right now, so you have the subsidy, which is 3.125 Bitcoin, plus the fees, which is this in Satoshis right there. And this is what the reward gets. This is the reward is whoever mines it. And then right below it is who mined it. So the last one to mine, which was 5 minutes ago, give or take, coming up 6, was Ocean. And and it can vary. So all those auction fees that we talked about, that dashboard shows you the split and which mining pool won it. So keep an eye on that fee percentage over time, because remember, every 4 years, the new Bitcoin half gets get cut in half again, and eventually the subsidy shrinks toward nothing, and fees have to carry the whole thing. This little readout is a live window into Bitcoin's long-term future. And you know what? Since we're talking about that, we're going to scroll all the way down where it says the next halving, and shows you how many blocks to go until the next halving, and the estimated date right here. So it's April 13th of 2028. So that's coming. It's coming right up. It's coming right up. So yeah, that is Bitcoin's new year right there that we talked about in episode 3, if you remember. So yeah, so we'll see. Actually, let's click on the wizard real quick. Let's see what the wizard has to tell us. Oh, look at that. So it says right here, April 13th of 2028 at 4 a.m. We'll be in Epoch 6. Right now we're in Epoch 1, and this will be the new subsidy right here, the new reward right here. And by that time, Bitcoin will already reach block 1 million. Is it 1 million or 10 million? Hold on. Gotta do a little mental math here. Oh yeah, 1,500,000 right here. And there's 86,916 blocks to go until we get to the halving, which will bring us into the new epoch and with this new subsidy. And like I said before, it's just going to keep going lower and lower and lower until there's nothing. But anyways, let's just keep it moving. All right, so now we're going to take a step back here. And we're going to bring our attention back to the clock right here. And, like I said, it looks a little overwhelming. There's a lot of rings and numbers going on, but we'll break it down because each one right here is not a decoration. It's not to make it look pretty and nice for Bitcoin. Rather, it's a countdown. So we're going to start with this one right here, blocks to halving. So this is the 4-year one, so the slow and patient one. So it's just counting down until we get to the halving. So as we mentioned before, the halving is estimated to be April 13th of 2028. So just a couple of years away. So it's funny because even looking at it, it's just kind of like a clock, but it's a very slow clock. And I assume once it gets back up here, Happy New Year, Bitcoin, and we start all over again till the next 4 years. So now we have the inner ring, which is the next difficulty adjustment right here. This red one right here. Look at that. So it's right over here right now. And this is the 2-week one. And then if we go over here, last 24 hours blocks, which is like the little one with the little dots, shows the last 24 hours of blocks positioned. And it shows, by how fast each one was found. And yeah, look at them. It's kind of like, spaced out right here. It's pretty cool. I know that it looks like a mess. It looks like, clumps of, where they all land, and they almost land almost on top of each other. And looking at that, we're at another block right now. But yeah, actually, I'm curious if you can even click on these now. But yeah, this is the visual proof of the thing that I told you back in episode 2. So 10 minutes is the average, not a rhythm. Each block is a lottery. And lotteries are streaky. Sometimes miners get lucky 3 times in a row, and sometimes nobody gets lucky for a while. But if you zoom out far enough, and all that chaos averages into one of the most reliable clocks ever built. That's the miracle right there in a ring of dots. Something completely unpredictable, moment to moment, and utterly dependable over time. Oh, and every one of those dots is, I don't think it's clickable. Oh no, it is. Look at that. It is. So it shows you right here. So this one right here, 12:30 on a Tuesday. Go back 1:40. Let me see. So this is all on Tuesday. This is all yesterday. I'm assuming. Yeah, let me. I guess these are not clickable right here. But anyways, this is the perfect place to stop. So everything that we did today was the present tense, what's happening right now. But this calendar has a second half that I've been dying to show you. Because it doesn't just tell you the time, it lets you travel through it. Next episode, the finale, we go backwards and all the way down to the very first block and the Easter egg hiding inside it. We find the block on your birthday that it lives in, and remember, I promised you that. And then we go, when we go forward into blocks that don't exist yet, and estimate when they will arrive. Stay tuned, because that's next time. Bring a date that matters to you. You're going to want it. Leave the date in the comment section down below. Till then, this is Kevin, 21 Stat Street. Peace, and thank you.